Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Devi Jade. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is the day after the full moon. I typically will give you guidance of what you can do on the new moons and the full moons and just different aspects of astrology. But at this particular time in divinely channeling message for you, I was given the message of it's not truly necessary to give people things for the full moon unless you really want to do something, but that's the essence of what's going on right now. We're not going to do anything. We're going to allow ourselves, choose for ourselves to have a very wonderful holiday season by being kind, by being immersed into the giving of ourselves to others. So our guides and angels, our holy deities, they would like us to be completely aware of those that are around us, to ask for opportunities to share ourselves in a very kind way. Most of all, and when we do share ourselves, make sure that we do it with listening. That's why we have the two ears, so that we can listen to others. Because going through this time where we've now come through the eye of the needle, it's what it seems like, correct? We are so much with wanting to celebrate with one another, to share with one another. It's very, very festive this year. I found myself even putting my tree up, this little tiny tree back here, way before and earlier than I've ever done before. And I never put it up before Thanksgiving, and I wanted it up. I wanted to have everything in a very holiday mood for myself. And I found that neighbors and friends were doing the same thing. So we have this collective desire to share in our households even the lights, the festivities, all the things that bring us those good feelings of this time of year. Our guidance, in essence, as far as spirituality, is the word of kindness and grace. When we are kind to ourselves first, grace does come upon us. It is a true power. It is for us so that we can, in fact, move through our lives in a way that removes a lot of negativity from us. I would encourage you to watch your self-talk. I always say that. Self-talkers are the things that you hear in your head, the things that come out of your mouth. And if you get people that seem to come into your space even now, and they, what I call trigger, they seem to trigger you, a lot of times our mind wants to go into just saying something else quickly, but just allow yourself that grace moment where you take a breath and you sit back and you just let whatever is there go, whatever emotion came up. Because all in all, everyone wants to be listened to, and we want to be able to do that for one another. So kindness begins with me. Isn't that the saying that we hear from everyone and everywhere? And it does begin with us, but it begins inside of us, to ourselves. So let go of a lot of the judgments. Now, I'm not speaking of, oh, okay, I'm just going to go do whatever I want and I'm not going to care about it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what we have all learned. And if it feels good, you know it. If it doesn't, you know that too. So don't go away from that if it's not feeling so good for you. Embrace all that is good for you. Inevitably, you'll set yourself up for the day to be able to reach into other people. So for example, I went to this place today. I hadn't been to it before. And I went in there, and this particular person asked if I needed help. I wanted to wander around a little bit. I said, that's fine, thank you. But then when it was time for me to leave, we did end up having a little bit of a chat. And people want to talk about themselves. If you've got the time, which we do have more time than we would allow ourselves to even think that we do, he was able to tell me things that he really wanted to complete. And I'm talking about he wanted to complete a book. He wanted to tell somebody's story. And he said, it's been coming to him, coming to him, and coming to him. He just hasn't done it. I said, well, this is the time to do it. This was after he said everything. I didn't cut in. I didn't give him advice. I just supported his ideas and inspiration he was getting for himself and acknowledged his inspiration. First and foremost, people want acknowledgement. And when we do acknowledge them, it puts that little inspiration that they received, it starts growing inside of them. And they'll feel more impressed and take action. And so I made a nice new little friend. Next time I go into that place, we've already exchanged our names, and he'll be glad to see me, and I'll be glad to see him. And the place that even that he's at, the energy there will grow more in love. Have you noticed when you go into houses, if you're looking for houses or if you go into different places, and the house, if it's empty, it feels kind of lonely. I was talking to my friend about this today. It feels like, oh, I want somebody there. And the houses seem to have a spirit of their own. I feel that everything has an energy to it, and I'm sure a lot of you do. And if the house is treated really well, then it responds really well. If it's treated with not so much care, then it seems to start having problems with the foundation or with the pipes or just little things. And you can feel it when the house, you come in your house, if you really like the place that you're living, you almost feel like it wants to wrap itself around you and keep you safe. So I would encourage you, these are what I'm referring to are these are good thoughts. These are kindnesses I'm giving to myself or people are giving to themselves when they go into their own places or go into stores or just little places. Every time you're simply laying out something that is beneficial to everyone. As far as grace, it will grow and it will grow. Much as this tiny little tree behind me, when you start your tree, it's this kind of barren thing, and then you start putting everything you love on it, and it starts growing, and it becomes a beautiful tree, just like we know that, well, a lot of you know the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. I love that little show. I hope you all do watch it. But it's just that little thing or a representation of, I don't feel so good about myself, or I don't know if I have much to offer, but Charlie Brown reaches into it, and then Linus helps him, and they all get together, the whole crew, and they create a very pretty little tree. All it wanted was a little extra attention. So I would definitely light lights. There is something to lighting lights in the window. I wouldn't put candles all over the place because in the windows, because if you're not paying attention, then something could happen. But this is what I do prefer true lit candles. But if this is the case and you don't know that you're going to put your eye on it, at least get the ones that have the batteries in there, and then they go on and off at a certain time, and it is a representation of our home is lit from within. We are lit from within, and that's the guidance I'm receiving for that. And if a person walks by there at night, they can feel the energy of your home and of your place. That feels safe to them. And if they feel safe, and if you feel safe, again, grace and kindness. And so they just get a little bit of a blessing as they go by. Is this so? Actually, it is so. Everywhere I have lived, I've always done certain things and blessed my house and spoken to very kind to my house. And when I moved from those places, I've actually had people come up to me and say, oh, I'm sorry you're moving, because when I'm feeling sad, I've walked by your house and I just feel happy. Okay, and I never have met this particular person of the story that I'm talking about right now, but they made a point to tell me, thank you, thank you, thank you. You never know, ever, where you're planting the seeds of love, of grace, and of kindness. So again, I'm going to say to you, this is a beautiful, wonderful season. Be kind to one another. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to everything that's around you. It may not seem like it's alive. Everything is alive, because what we put into our world definitely comes back to our world. I hope you have a lovely, lovely Christmas, and I'll be seeing you soon. Thank you so much.